Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGME Cast for your Wednesday night. We're back with ANZCAR and the Thunder series, and we're live from Vegas, the place where everyone loses and makes their dreams all in one night. And we might well see that tonight. If you are watching live on YouTube, you are watching the Ozpram Sim Series. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of an internet connectivity issue. Carl's in Adelaide, I'm in Victoria, and we both suffer from the same issue, so not sure what happened there. Perhaps the hamster stopped running around the wheel, and that's just affected the changeover there. So it is the ANZCAR Thunder Series, and we are live from Vegas. And of course, as I alluded to, I am joined by none other than Carl Withy himself.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody. Yes, we are not at Hockenheim. You might have noticed that by the track layout. I mean, you know, some people may not know. And these are not GT3 cars. They are a little bit different, of course. These are the Xfinity cars for Wednesday Night Thunder here at the famous Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So, yeah, looking forward to this one for sure.
If you squint really hard, and I mean really hard, not probably recommended given your line of work, Carl, but if you do squint really, really hard, you probably see cars turn right, and they probably do look like GT3s.
Yeah, and if you are seeing GT3s at the moment, then come and visit me at OPSM, where we will separately need to check your eyes.
No, but of course we are here at Las Vegas for the fifth round of the Thunder Series, Xfinity cars, and it's been an absolute corker of a series so far this season. We're 5 rounds in. We've had cars spanning less than 1,000th of a second in qualifying, and some really, really close racing. Carl, how is the championship standings looking, or how are the championship standings looking?
Well, championship standings-wise, we have Matty Ray in the lead of the championship. He has got an 11-point lead over Josh Micklemore in second place. Hamish Gallagher sits third, 15 points off the lead. 22 points down in fourth position is Brenton West, climbing up to fourth position in the championship. Good job from him. Joshua Carroll-Walden sitting in fifth. 28 points off the lead. 34 points down is Edward Foster, sitting in sixth position. He's going to try and get a little bit higher tonight. He managed to climb 5 positions last time out. Stephen Williams is in 7th position, 39 off the lead. Norman Clark is 40 down. We have Matty Hunter in 9th, 42 off the lead, and Christopher Finley in 10th, 43 points off the lead, but it is pretty close all the way through, so expect to see those championship tables change after tonight.
Yeah, absolutely right. So it's very, very close at the top. One thing for Matty Ray, of course, is just how consistent he can be. So how will that affect what happens here tonight? You will have to obviously join us for the remainder of the broadcast to see. And we'll see that in how many laps we're doing here tonight, Carl? I didn't actually catch that before the stream.
98 laps tonight.
98 laps tonight, of course. So 98 laps, of course. Edward Foster on screen at the moment, the Godfather, as I call him. I'm not sure many other people call him that, but I do. You've got to do these things when you report to work, but the Godfather there just on stream, and he is probably looking for another good night here tonight.
Yeah, he's going to hope to get a decent run tonight. Of course, we are off off kilter almost, so we're no longer running it next to the chase, next to the Cup Series, so possibly getting ready for next week's adventure to Las Vegas. We are, of course, at Bristol tomorrow night for the Cup Series after a slight issue with the old servers last time out, so hopefully everything will be back to sort of semi-normality soon. Yeah, we're probably just getting a little bit of experience under his belt for Las Vegas next week, and also just wanting to get a good run out there tonight as well for the Xfinity Series. Yeah,
I was going to say, I mean, I actually don't mind that. And last week, obviously, the main game taken out by an update from iRacing itself, as Edward Foster goes second in practice here. but taking out by iRacing itself with that update impacting on our ability to run the chase. But I don't mind that it's a week apart because the sort of practice race thing, I'm not quite sure about it. I know it reflects the real calendar for the Cup, obviously, but here we've got a little bit more flexibility in what we do with the Thunder Series, and I like the fact that it's a week apart now. So we get to see and conjecture and have a look at how things might turn out in a week's time.
Yeah, that's it. It's nice to have a little bit offset there. Just makes things a little bit more fun and changes things up a little bit. As you say, we get to run 3 different tracks a week and gives us something different to watch on the stream as well. It makes a little bit more difference across the series too, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome to High Glue as well, joining us again for another night in a row. Thanks very much for jumping on with Twitch. Just saying they're looking forward to the next gen car on ANZCAR. So that's a topic of much conjecture in the paddock, and we're just about to jump into qualifying here, but we might talk a little bit more about that during the stream, Carl. I'll give you some advance notice. Maybe you can run us through some of the differences between the next gen car and what we're seeing here tonight, and in fact in the Cup. But we are about to head into qualifying for tonight's race if it is the first time you've joined us. 2-lap sprint solo qualifying, of course, to reduce any benefit gain from drafting, and it's a 2-lap sprint. We generally jump on board with somebody of interest, and tonight that person is Dave Douglas, but he's just waiting a little bit here, so maybe he's not going to jump out onto the stream. So instead, let's jump in who has had a race debut win in ANZCAR, which is in the Cup, that is, which is Daniel Heddersheed. Just waiting for the computer to come to life here because it's not enjoying what we're doing.
Well, again, I think some form of possible internet playing around a little bit tonight. Unfortunately, it's a strange one tonight.
Yeah, it just seems to have dropped out again there. Let's just kick it in the bum and see what happens. And looks like even the overlay software has locked up a little bit at the moment. I can't even change drivers, so let's reduce that one.
The old the hammer out and start chipping away a little bit and make this work.
Okay, and for some reason that strategy always seems to work, and we're back up and running again. So Dave Douglas still not out on track. Let's jump on board with Jamie Budd instead and have a look at him as he gets around in the Send It Sim Sports entry. One of the newer drivers to the stream, and Carl will get you to talk us around when he gets underway.
Yeah, so he's on his second lap right here. Jamie Budd, got to watch out on the exit of turn number 2 there. It gets very tight there on the exit. Turn 1, there's a little bit of a bump. Just want to lift off there. Turns 3 and 4, it's very easy to lose the car in the exit of this corner, especially if you're running the low line. This corners nicely and get across the track here. You can cut a little bit of the tri-oval section sometimes to make up a little bit of time position. So fairly decent run there with the 31.3, but I'm sure he'll want to go a little bit quicker than that. Just looking to see who's just about to go. So Ryan Jones is probably a good one to look out for. He's just starting his flying lap now. Let's see if he can manage to set an identical time and start second place once more. So, as I say, coming into turn 1 here, so get a great view here. Running up on that high line, gets very close to the wall. A little bit of a bump in that first corner. You've got to be careful of it. So you just, I think he just kissed the wall there. That might null and void this lap for Ryan. Into turns 3 and 4. So on the exit of turn 2, it does get tighter and it catches a lot of drivers out. He's running out very high line, trying to get a really good exit off the corners and use that to his advantage. He cuts right down across the tri-oval here, uses that to his advantage, and yeah, I think that lap was going to take the low line into turns 1 and 2 this time. Watch him just drift up the track a little bit here, and you can just see it getting closer there. There's a little bit of a bump on the exit of turn 2 that can sometimes throw you out. Into turns 3 and 4, just a little bit of a lift. Getting in there, just get the car settled before you get back on the power. Be careful when you put your foot down, because sometimes when you wash yourself up towards that wall, Ryan Jones dropping below the line, getting a good run across the track, and that's going to put him up into P1.
Oh, wow. He
actually does it. Ryan Jones has not set an identical time. Almost. It was a 30.356 compared to Edward Foster's 30.366.
And Carl, what does this resume for us, car is the Jones versus Foster battle, and we've got it right from the start tonight. If you can hear that noise in the background, it's me rubbing my hands together. Love racing. They love to hate racing against one another.
They do very much. Like the amount if I had a dollar do for every time that we saw Ryan Jones and Edward Foster together on track, I would be a very rich man right now. But they often end up in similar starting positions because they are very quick.
Yeah,
absolutely. No one would really argue Ryan Jones is one of the quickest drivers in ANZCAR just for one lap pace, absolutely. And one of his biggest weaknesses was long run pace. And it's something that Ryan Jones has improved on week after week, and now that he is right up there. And he's one of the hardest drivers to beat. If you can manage to beat Ryan Jones, you're doing a fantastic job, because he has absolutely been growing as a driver and coming on leaps and bounds. Of course, back in the we had Ryan Jones up in the booth as punishment for some of those
discretions
moments on track. The old punishment of getting thrown up in the broadcast booth and having to talk to Carl for a couple of hours was his punishment. But it worked out pretty well for him because he's done well with the old commentating game too.
Yeah, absolutely, he has. So we've got here the grid up 98 laps tonight, and we've got Ryan Jones, Edward Foster, as we said, across the front row with Brenton West. Great qualifying performance from Brenton after a good run last week. Hamish Gallagher next to him. Then it's Tim West entries. Josh Mickelmore, Norm Clark off row 5 with Moko Dortnack and Michael Skurlock off row 6. As we flip over the page, it is Gary Willman, Lachlan Urquhart off 7 with Raymond and Donnelly off 8. Then it's Martin and West off 9 with Hunter and Wilkinson off 20. Good performance there from Peter Wilkinson with Mick Taylor and Dave Douglas off 11 with Tristan Koch and Aaron Dillon off 12. And as we roll back through the remaining places on the grid, it is Jamie Budd, Steve Williams off 13 with JCW Rawlock off 14 and Jamie Nankervis and Luke Georgian rounding out our 30 starters for round 5 of the Thunder Series, the Xfinity cars on ANZCAR on FGM eCast.
Yeah, and we'll notice you'll see Josh Mickelmore, the blue and yellow mixed motorsport car, pull out of the line as they start up, because he's going to have to start from the back of the grid after getting a couple of contacts last time out at Bristol in the Xfinity Series. Got him an end of the line penalty, so he'll be starting from the back of the grid with that one.
I think it's reasonable to say that that will be a car to watch, along with car 98, Steve Williams, down in 26 tonight. That's unusual for him, along with JCW as well. So there'll be a couple to watch come through. Dave Douglas had a couple of strong starts and runs in this series as well, as in the truck. So he's in P22. Watch for him to come through. We'll jump on board with Peter Wilkinson throughout the night as well for the Locked On Lads entry. He's done a good job to get up there into P20, just gradually building for Wilco. Good to see. And Aidan Schultz as well, we'll keep an eye on tonight, up with his teammate Ruben Foltz. It's the first time we've seen them together up the grid too. So it's going to build tonight for a really, really strong race, Carl, I think.
It is indeed, and there are a few drivers slightly out of position. One of the drivers interesting to see is Matty Ray starting 15th. He qualified. So that tells me something about Matty Ray, that he is looking to get a good finish tonight, because he usually sits right at the back of the pack and just doesn't do much. But the championship is absolutely now on his radar. So Matty Ray is thinking about that aspect. And he's going to be thinking about that one. Great job from the Brenton West as well. It's great to see him up there
absolutely.
in P3. Really good qualifying performance. We've seen him just have some really good races. He's definitely one of those drivers that is going to be battling it out for a victory at some stage in the near future.
Yeah, he's certainly coming up. It's really, really good to see. And I'm very, very interested to watch his progress tonight, how he goes running up the front. I tell you what, though, what Troops Up Championships more is changing what works for you. I'm surprised Matty Ray qualified. It's an unusual strategy for him. I know that sounds weird, but he's very, very good at just patiently working his way through the field and getting up to challenge for the end of the race. So we'll see how it goes for him tonight.
See how it goes, but the pace car is in. Ryan Jones leads away. He gets off early, putting a foot down as the green flag drops here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for FGM eCast Wednesday Night Thunder here with the ANZCAR Xfinity Series. Good start from Ryan Jones and Foster. Brenton West just dropping back a little bit behind Hamish Gallagher and Daniel Hedgesheed as well. Hedgesheed getting a lightning start there. Aidan Schultz doing a good job too. I think Tim Weston just got caught out a little bit on that start, and just dropped off that pack a little bit. But they are going to be able to catch up. Used a little bit of the draft here. You did get a little bit of that draft opportunity. Ryan Jones loses the rear end there out of turn number 4. Very, very quick hands of Jones to save that one. Great job for saving that one. The cold tyres catching Jonesy out there, absolutely. And that's given Hamish Gallagher the opportunity to get a bit of a run. Foster taking the lead.
Absolutely. Great hands there from Ryan Jones. Actually running the double one tonight. I called him as a triple one, which is what we're used to seeing, but running the double one tonight. And that's enabled Hamish Gallagher just to close right up on the back of him there. You've got Daniel Hedershy in the second of the Atari Autosport AJ Insurance Service sponsored entries just behind him with still Brenton West just holding on there. Ruben Phelps closing him down. Norm Clark's made a move whilst Aidan Schultz has dropped down a couple of spots and surrendered position to Michael Skurlock. As we get through lap 3, there's a lot of love in the audience there for our man Wilco. We'll jump on board, boys. Don't be disappointed. We'll get on board with Wilco at some stage throughout the evening. But just in this early part, very, very close at the front between Foster, Jones and Gallagher.
Yeah, Wilco dropping to the back of the pack at the start, just deciding to get a little bit of clean air from himself, just to get a little bit of a lay of the land so he doesn't have to race too hard, just keeping his nose clean in this race. I think that's one of the big things. But I think dropping that extra one for Ryan Jones is the difference maker. That little bit less weight on the car is the reason he got pole position for sure. One less one on the car, a little bit less paint, gives him that little bit of extra edge to not get the same identical time as Foster and get pole position.
We're on board now with Hamish Gallagher. Just having a look. Ryan Jones just running that slightly higher line at the moment. It seems to be working for him. Just able to battle it out between the red and brown M&M there. Let us know in the chat which M&M is your favourite flavour. But in the meantime, you can see him just putting pressure on the back of Edward Foster. Foster, a very, very experienced campaigner. In fact, I do believe rumoured at some stage to have offered some advice to Ryan Jones. So let's see what happens here as Jonesy, the hard-pressing young campaigner, tries to take on the experienced godfather of ANZCAR at the front of this pack. I tell you what, Carl, we've got this for tonight. What a battle we will see.
Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting little fight. Jones putting his nose just up the inside of Foster there, trying to put his nose there, just trying to offset him a little bit. Foster keeping to that line though. And it's one of the things about Edward Foster is he will be the first to tell you if he spots you doing something wrong in a race and let you know how to go faster. One of the things he will let drivers know, he's very quick to actually offer advice because he wants to be racing against people, not just, winning and dominating. He actually loves to be fighting it out for positions. He obviously wants to win, but he would much rather have a clean fight and have a good battle than see somebody dropping right off the pace. So it's one of the things that is very nice, and it's one of the things I love about the league as well, that everybody's so quick to help each other out. Driver moving up the chart, is Josh Micklemore, starting at the end of the line. He's already moved up to 22nd place, so he has gained a few places there, and he's trying to get up towards Dave Douglas and Joshua Carroll Walden as well. Carroll Walden having a good start, 7 positions gained in this race so far, one of the bigger movers in the pack.
Yeah, it's a good point you make there, Carl, about the league itself. It's one of the biggest bits about this, of course, the Xfinity, the Thunder Series. The Series, I would say, in between, but probably not in between the trucks and the Cup. But certainly a place to come and learn and run in the pack and get some advice. And all the drivers very, very quick, not to offer you advice in that way, but very, very quick to help out to make other drivers develop. We're looking at one of the best in the business, Josh Micklemore, on screen at the moment. He is absolutely a dominant driver in ANZCAR across the series, so we'll keep an eye on Micklemore. There's no chance at all that he was ever going to stay down the back of the pack. And as you say, making good progress. Up behind Dave Douglas, another stalwart of the series, in the 199 entry. And Dave's been knocking on the door for a few weeks now. He's got real close to victories in the truck and this series. Hasn't quite managed to convert, so let's see how he goes tonight.
Yeah, he's going to be trying his absolute best. It is still an absolute battle at the front. Jonesy is putting all of the pressure on Foster at the moment. All Foster can see is a packet of M&Ms in his rearview mirror at the moment, just all over the back windscreen. But Ryan Jones really trying his best to put Foster off, really trying to get him to look in his mirrors and actually make him focus on Ryan Jones. And that's a really valid way of racing. It's a great way of actually trying to put the driver in front of you off. But as you do that, it's going to allow the guy behind you to close in, and that's what Hamish Gallagher is doing in the 13, of course, the Diet Coke Taylor Swift Toyota Supra. He is sitting right there, and as always with Hamish Gallagher, he is there waiting for a mistake, and he will pounce as soon as that happens. Daniel Hedershy doing a great job in 4th position. He's trying to catch the draft a little bit and catch up to this pack as Brenton West has fallen off a little tiny bit in 5th position. He's got Ruben Phelps and Aidan Schultz behind him, the two teammates in Aussie Esports team. They're doing a great job working their way up there. Norman Clark sitting behind them in the Natari Auto Sports car, the AJ Insurance Service sponsored vehicle, with the flying pony himself, the Welsh wonder, Mr. Michael Scullock, in 9th position. He is one to watch out for. He will be dashing to the front, I'm sure. Lachlan Urquhart rounding out the top 10 at the moment.
It's good to see Skirley back in the My Little Pony entry. I love the way that man runs his race. It's a really, really good thing to watch. Tell you what, Natari Autosports will be happy at the moment with 3 drivers inside the top 10. That is a good start for them. And a good result. Joshua Carroll-Walden, the 4th of the drivers, up 8 places already into 19th position. So he separated himself a little bit away from Josh Micklemore, who was the other hard charge coming through the field. Got in front of Tristan Cock there in the 550 entry. And he's now chasing down series organiser Matty Hunter. So it could very well be here an Atari top 4 in the top 10.
Jumping to the front, Gallagher is starting to put the pressure on to Ryan Jones. The Mitch Motorsport driver is starting to turn the screws. Of course, the Season 2 champion, Season 1 champion, sorry. Yeah, Season 1 champion in the Xfinity. There we go. It's been a long year, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, Hamish Gallagher winning it out last season. He's starting to put the screws on Ryan Jones and apply the pressure. And you can see, trying to get down the inside there. How is this one going to go for Ryan Jones? He's really doing a good job defending. But this is good news for Foster because he's going to be able to break away from these two as they battle.
Night Lord _ AU is just saying Foster for the win. That supports exactly what you're saying there, Carl. Edward's going to be able to... Edward, jeez, it's like he's in trouble. Foster able to just manage his race a little bit at the front here now while Jones and Gallagher battle away. It's going to help him if this race continues to run green as we head towards the tyre stop.
Edward Foster to the principal's office, please.
Absolutely.
Words for you, sir.
It'll be Stuart to the principal's office afterwards if I keep that caper up. So I'll just redress and put myself back in my box a little bit there as we're right on board here with Gallagher as he gets down under the apron there to put the pressure on Ryan Jones. He's got a good run here under the 11. I don't know why he changed from the 111 to the 11 tonight, but the 13 it is. Hamish Gallagher showing that M&M a clear set of heels down on that inside. Doing a ripping job there. He hasn't quite got it done. Gets up close on him. Just pins him up to the wall there. That's going to help him on this next turn in. And he's doing a good job there.
Ryan Jones
Absolutely.
So Ryan Jones running the 11 because that's his original number. So the 11 was taken earlier in the season by somebody else who's disappeared. So Ryan Jones has managed to get the 11 back for himself. So he is now running that instead of the 111. So yeah, that's the reason that number has changed. As all contact between Jones and Gallagher there. Little bit of a hip check. That's going to give Hedersheed the chance for a run now. Watch this one from the 035 as he gets right up behind Gallagher. He's going to really put the pressure on him. Watch out for Ryan Jones as well. He's going to be pressing it against Hamish Gallagher. They make contact again. Just a little hip check there. Bit of door-on-door contact between the two cars. The Toyotas are banging doors at the moment as they get into each other once more. Gallagher and Jones absolutely beating each other out there, banging panels like nothing else. The drums are getting louder here in Las Vegas as those two cars make a racket.
I love it. Oh. There's Hedersheed there, just not able to close that one out. Mick Taylor's just got into the wall in the background, but the battle is very much firmly fixed at the front as Edward Foster makes his gap known, 1.1 at the moment, which is fantastic for him. His teammate Daniel Hedersheed jogging on the spot at the moment behind Ryan Jones and Hamish Gallagher fighting out. And look at that man in the background there, Brenton West. He is ready to jump onto the back of this pack. This is where it's at the moment. Oh, as Jonesy gets a little bit loose, that checks up Hedersheed. That's going to bring West straight into this battle, and it's going to be 4 cars at the early part, 19 laps in here at Las Vegas as we've got a 4-car battle for P2.
Yeah, giving Foster the opportunity to get a 1 second lead, and right now Daniel Hedersheed is just thinking to himself, he's right in the middle of a flipping reptile zoo and somebody's giving these boys lots of fuel at the moment.
I love it. Absolutely love it. And there it is. Hedersheed now down underneath. Oh, just got a little bit loose there. Just touched the apron. Got a little bit loose. Don't worry, AC Racing. We'll have a look at 274 in a moment. Luke Georgeson will get him up on screen for you. Stick around. We're just having a quick look at this battle while it resolves itself. 20 laps down. Brenton West jumping on the back. There's a pack forming behind as well with Phelps, Clark, Skurlock and Lachlan Urquhart as well. Urquhart's a little bit off the back of that pack. We'll just wait for this to cool down so we don't miss anything, and then we'll jump straight on board with Luke Georgeson.
Yeah, Luke Georgeson just running a bit further back at the moment towards the back of the pack down in 27th. But the big race here is absolutely up at the front.
Oi.
Georgeson doing a good race again, one of the newer drivers to the series, and just keeping his nose clean at the moment. But it's side by side between Hedersheed and Jones at the moment as they go through turn number 4. As they're going to get out there, Hedersheed's going to have that nice low line. Jones is going to get a nice bit of drafting from Gallagher. Gallagher drops down. That's going to help Hedersheed out. This battle is absolutely fantastic stuff. Jones is really trying to keep the pressure on. He's using that high line to his advantage. The issue is, there's not many people have been driving out there tonight, so it's that low line is going to have that little bit more pace for the tyre grip. You can see Jones just getting so close to the wall there. On the exit of turn 2, it does tighten up. So easy to get into the wall there. Jones just absolute millimetres perfect on the exit there. It's into the back of Hedersheed. No major foul there between the two, but it is full contact tonight with these boys up the front. What happens in Vegas, it stays in Vegas. That is going to be, well, they're going to hope for that, because some of the paychecks could come back later in the series with some of this action.
I tell you what, they got Popeye elbows out at the moment, just making that battle stick. I thought there that Brenton West was going to be the one who was going to be the biggest benefactor as they hung Ryan Jones out to dry, but he said no, absolutely not. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, I am down into this low line. And things have just sort of, have they calmed down a little bit? I don't know. Brenton West on the back of Ryan Jones at the moment. We're just going to very quickly just stuck back and have a quick look at Luke Georgeson here for AC Racing. He's waited a little bit patiently there while we keep an eye on that one, Carl, if you can. And here he is, Luke Georgeson, on screen at the moment. What's he got there? The Corp IT livery. That's a very bright looking livery. I love that one. Big fan of the liveries. In fact,
easy to spot.
Our lead is just coming up on the back of him now, so he's going to have to be aware of that. He's up 3 spots at the moment, starting from the rear of the field, but he's been nice and consistent, which is the most important thing here. And you never know how cautions might play into your favour. He's got a 13-second gap in front of him to Tristan Cock in the 550 entry, and then Peter Wilkinson just up above him with Jamie Budd. I was talking to Joe Daly of Send It Sim Sports as well.
Jumping to Peter Wilkinson, because he's making a move on Jamie Budd at the moment. Jamie Budd, a little bit of damage on the front of that car. He just got up into Nathan Rollock earlier in the race, and Wilco is going to try and take the high line up through this corner right here. Will the Locked On iRacing broadcast car get past? Looks like he's just about going to make it. You're going to see Bud run that low line across the infield here. Wilkinson's going to get past him here and just try and chop down in front of that Toyota. Very, very kind there from Wilco. He could have been much, much more aggressive there. He's left himself a little bit open into turn 1, but he should get a better run off turn 2 here. He just needs to just get in front there of Jamie Budd just to seal that manoeuvre. And I think Jamie Budd's just going to leave that one and go, look, I'm just going to sit behind you a little bit. That will help him out as well, because he won't have as much aero problem. He can just sit behind Wilkinson and use a little bit of that toe now as they try and catch up to Nathan Rollock, who's currently battling with Mitchell West side by side across the start-finish line. Those two go as the battle has eased up a little bit at the front, but there are still fights going on throughout the field. Josh Micklemore making a move on
Matty
Thomas
Ray.
Martin
Thomas
right now.
Martin. Yeah, got him done.
So getting past there, so moving himself up into P15. He's currently chasing along with Joshua Carroll Walden. 13 positions gained for Carroll Walden, so those two are running their way through the field. We normally see that man, Matty Ray, doing that, but he's currently sort of sitting a bit stale. Started 15th, sitting 15th at the moment, not really making up much ground. Meanwhile, up the front, Foster has built a 2-second lead over Hamish Gallagher, who is trying his best to catch up to him, but Hedersheed is doing his best to stop that from happening, putting pressure on the back of Gallagher. And that battle is starting to get a little bit heated up again as Ryan Jones is falling into the grasp of Brenton West. And watch out for Mr. Mickey Skurlock, who is just sitting in the background there, licking his lips, rubbing his hands with joy, sniffing a bit of blood in the water. He's going to start making his way up there.
I was going to say, I don't know too many Welsh dishes, but I can certainly use My Little Pony analogy as Brenton West and Michael Skurlock start fighting out now. There'll be lots of glitter coming out the back of the 350 if he gets this one done. He's closed up on this pack here. West has been fighting away with Ryan Jones for a little while now. As you can see, Daniel Hedersheed on the back of Hamish Gallagher just in front of this battle here. So we've got 3 separate packs at the moment at the front. You can't call one person a pack. Edward Foster by himself, running as a wolf by himself. And then you've got Gallagher and Heddersheet up ahead of him, and then this group here of Jones, Skurlock and West. What a pack this is. We've got the newer upcomer Brenton West against the experience of Michael Skurlock and the enthusiasm of Ryan Jones. This is going to be one heck of a battle. Let's have a look at this one for a little bit here. As Luke Dresser says, get it, fellas. He's all over this one. Not running tonight, unfortunately, but he's got a battle of his own to run in the V8s, I believe. Good luck with that one tonight, Luke. But it is your man, Mickey Skurlock here, making moves up 7 positions. Currently now harassing the back of the number 11, Ryan Jones.
And moving down the inside, Skurlock goes the 350 on the 11, making the move there. And this is going to give Brenton West the opportunity to try and get past Michael Skurlock. Will be really happy with that and is going to earn himself a nice Welsh rabbit for his dinner tonight. So he'll be looking forward to that one, I am sure.
Certainly easier than chasing the sheep round in the flock, but you never know how he's going to go tonight, Mickey Skurlock. He's been a little bit quiet over the last few weeks, so I love getting him up into the booth. He had a really good start to the year. He's been a little bit quiet in this midsection, but he'd certainly be happy to get some wins under his belt as we head through the chase in the Cup Series, where we will be next week following this race in that one. So let's see how he gets on here. As you can see there, the alternate lines available to the drivers through the corner there. Some choosing to use the apron to cut the corner a little, others choosing to use the banking to maintain that turn in. So the 350 of Skurlock doing a good job here. He's up behind Daniel Heddersheet now as Heddersheet falls off the back of Hamish Gallagher ever so slightly, but they're going to gap Jones and West, who are falling back behind them.
Yeah, nice move there. Of course, Welsh rabbit, not actually made of rabbit. It's a Welsh delicacy, but I'll stop there as he makes a move on Heddersheet as well. Skurly absolutely flying at the moment. You were talking about Welsh dishes, and I thought I might as well bring my obscure knowledge of culinary dishes into this as well.
So Night Lord, sorry, I was just going to say, Night Lord AU's just asked where Tristan Cockwood, he's actually done a pit so far, so he's already served his first pit lane under green. So he's just dropped back down to the back of the field. At the moment, he's 1 lap down.
Yeah, so Matty Hunter as well in pit lane. So Matty Hunter, Tristan Cock, Mick Taylor all come into pit lane, as well as Aaron Dillon, but I think Aaron Dillon might be out of the race, unfortunately. So a few people coming in a little bit early, trying a slightly different strategy. They're going to slap some fresh tyres on. Not a huge change not a huge advantage you get from fresh tyres at a place like this. People complain a lot about the sort of cookie cutter style tracks, these kind of ovals. Of course, Las Vegas, one of those tracks that's very similar to a few others out there, but
in the background there, JCW has gone around. Is it going to bring out the caution? It's not. There's no caution. Aiden Schultz and JCW there getting involved with one another in a way that you don't like to on the racetrack. Let's have a look at it, Carl.
JCW getting up into the wall of turn 2. I did warn about that. It gets tight up there, and he's gone into Aiden Schultz. Schultz, he had nowhere to go there, unfortunately. The Black Cat has once again struck Aiden Schultz, but somehow the yellow has not come out. Schultz is going to come straight into pit lane, try and get a little bit of repair done. Of course, no fast repairs in ANZCAR, because we don't believe in fast repairs, unless, you know, if you can't do it in real life, then you can't do it in ANZCAR. So there's no fast repairs there, and that has really cost, it's cost Joshua Carroll-Walden. And that's really cost Aiden Schultz, unfortunately. But Schultz now can slap some new tyres on there. He can get some fuel put in. He will run off strategy a little bit. But this could be an interesting one, because he could come good later in this race if it stays green.
So back live here, and
we got a big accident. Mirko Dornak involved in that one. That's going to bring out the caution. It looks like Kate Donnelly as well. So let's have a little look at this one. It's somebody's actually gone around in front of Cade, I think it is. Maybe Ruben Phelps and Lachlan Urquio, actually. It's the cause of this one. So
yeah, it is. Urquio ended up in pit lane there.
Yeah, Ruben Phelps and Lachlan Urquio just make contact with each other. And Cade Donnelly had nowhere to go. Cade Donnelly just gets caught up with that one, unfortunately. And so does Mirko Dornak. It's sort of shoved him up into there. And the caution flag is out. That is a bad one. Tristan Cock getting a huge hit with that one. Dave Douglas just sliding through there. Dave Douglas, I'd say. Douglas and Josh Mickelmore will be worth watching on board with.
Just had a quick look at Mirko Dornak there, just stationary in the middle of the track. Not much he could do there. His car doesn't actually look that badly damaged. He sort of got caught up in the slide, but ended up in the middle of the track. So hopefully Mirko can get that one back out. Let's go back here and have a look, if we can, on board with Dave Douglas.
Yeah, watch this from Dave. He goes across the grass here, and there is a couple of cars spinning out across him. He's cutting the lawn. He's making sure that grass is nice and clear. And watch this from the front. Look at Kay Donnelly. Look how close this gets. Dave Douglas somehow missing that car, keeps it straight, straightens it up, bounces it across the asphalt there, gets it all crossed up, but manages to keep it going. Dave Douglas, a save and a half there. All the cars are coming into pit lane, though. This is going to be the chance for a lot of cars to come in and get some fuel, some fresh tyres, things like that. So I think everybody's going to decide to come into pit lane right now and get this service done. Not enough to get them to the end by my calculations. They'll probably need a splash and dash or a mega save. So we might see some people doing some really big saves to make it to the end. This is going to be... This is sort of... They needed this caution to come out in about 3 or 4 more laps time so they could make it to the end. Right now, they might be in a little bit of trouble.
I'll tell you what, with the way that you saw that handy business there from Dave Douglas, you'd love to see him at the cast with a fistful of 50s. My goodness me. Did a great job there to avoid it. The one who this penalises the most is Edward Foster. This race has been his from the start. And he is currently just in front of our apparent race leader on my timing monitor, which is Lachlan Urquio. Urquio had pitted, or has not pitted actually. I think he's got...
No, Urquio has pitted.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have to serve a penalty because he would have entered pit lane in an incorrect manner. If we're talking like the white glove movers, but he's going to do that now. So what Foster will be hoping for here, I reckon, is that he can run. Of course, he's got Hamish Gallagher out in front of him, but that he can run and perhaps get a gap again and manage potentially his race to the end.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a fuel-saving race now. If they get another caution, they'll be fine. But it's going to be all about fuel right now, and that's going to be a big change. Just going back to watch Hamish Gallagher, because I reckon Did he take all 4 tyres? Let's have a little look-see. Yes, he did. So he did take all 4 tyres. He just had a very good pit stop, Hamish Gallagher. So Gallagher was stationary for about a second less than Foster. So I'm wondering if possibly Gallagher just took a little bit less fuel, and that might come back to cost him later in this race. That could be a bad call from Hamish Gallagher, because I'd say Foster would have taken a little bit more fuel. Gallagher has got some damage, of course, so he could have used that time to get some repairs done. He didn't. So I would say that's fuel related more than anything, because the fact, just looking through the times, generally everybody's about 15 seconds stationary. Hamish Gallagher was about 0.5 of a second quicker than anybody else. So, yeah, that will be interesting. Let's see how that one pans out, because that could come back to bite him later in this stint.
I can't believe we're already 41 laps through, Carl. It's been a fantastic race so far tonight. Plenty of stuff right throughout the field. Feel bad for Aidan Schultz, of course. He's had a couple of bad runs, but he's one of those drivers that we love to have involved in the series. I'm just wondering if maybe we might be able to pull him up. He hasn't jumped into the infield care centre yet, but maybe you might go Schultz hunting and we can grab him up into the combox quickly. But it's been a really, really full race so far. So of interest, if you've just joined us, Edward Foster got out of the gates really well and has managed to open a lead up until the caution period. But we've seen a lot of battles. The pack behind the leaders jumping out to 5 cars. We've got the lights out on the pace car so far. So we're about to go green flag running. We've only lost about 5 cars so far. Donnelly, Dortnack, Kwok and Schultz looking like they're out so far. Mick Taylor, Aaron Dillon as well, with Jamie Nankervis not starting the race. And let's see how this one goes with Hamish Gallagher, Mitch Motorsport entry, about to restart things here.
Just quickly, just saying hello to Aidan Schultz. Unfortunately, got caught up in that instant, mate.
Yeah, JCW got in the outside wall after 2, and that was all she wrote.
Big shame there. Look, hopefully we can see you get back. Hopefully, we don't want to see cautions, but hopefully we can see a few cautions to get you back in this race tonight.
It is what it is, mate. It's all a bit of fun. But thank you. Hopefully we come back.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Hayden.
Have a good call.
So we're away here again. Hamish Gallagher gets a really good restart there. Edward Foster and his teammate Daniel Heddersheet as well, with Michael Skurlock down on the inside. So Skurley's going to have some work to do here. He's got two teammates having a run there on the outside, but it is going to be a good restart from Skurlock. It's going to penalise Foster and Heddersheet as Foster drops 3 positions here from pre-caution postings, and it looks like Hamish Gallagher gets out to a good restart.
Really nice, strong restart there from Gallagher, getting away so well there. So, yeah, really nice restart there. Foster just sitting back a little bit. I'm going to suggest that a few cars are going to be thinking about fuel saving, and we might be seeing somebody like Foster pondering that.
I think you're spot on, Carl. I think that's exactly the move that they'll make. Oh, Jesus, Skurley there just gets up nice and close with the wall, but I think that's the way to go here. Oh, and he does it again, so that's allowed Foster to get a run down the inside. Heddersheet's going to go with him, as is potentially Ryan Jones here, so this is going to catch the Welsh Fiddler out. And Jonesy there down on the apron. Foster doing the same thing to defend. Heddersheet just caught a little bit there. Maybe a little bit of inexperience in these cars, just showing there. But he does manage to maintain the position. A bit of damage on the back of the AJ Insurance Services 035 entry as Ryan Jones in the M&M entry tries to push around the outside. He's got a good run on here as well, has Jonesy, so that caution's going to serve him well. He's going to have fresh tyres on that one, and he loves to push hard when he's got fresh rubber on his car.
Yeah, very much so. It's that we know Jonesy can absolutely go with the best of them with fresh tyres on, so he is going to be pushing. And as I said, I've just got a sneaking suspicion a few drivers might be fuel saving and thinking about that, and Foster's just going to be sitting behind Hamish Gallagher right now, and that's going to help his fuel numbers. Jonesy, meanwhile, getting a move done on Heddersheet, trying his best to get past the 035. The 11 is up on the high side. Heddersheet on the inside in the 035. Will he manage to hold it there? Should get a little bit of a better run off this corner, but Jones is going to cut down. He's trying to force down in front of Heddersheet there, and Ryan Jones absolutely does it. Cuts off in front of him there and swipes across the nose.
Well, Trev's put in the big call here. Thanks for joining, Trev, as always. Love your support. Skurley for the fuel save. Maybe so. I thought Foster might be doing the same thing, but he's just put in the fastest lap of the race, and he's just challenging here now for the lead. So I'm just having a quick look back down through the field now, and you can see here as well, Dave Douglas under pressure from Stevie Williams. Stevie Dub just trying to get down the inside of him in the DPR Simrigs.com entry. From Ed Simgear, Simrigs.com, the place to go 100%, but he's just got the job done there on Dave Douglas. So that moves him up 16 positions now for Stevie Dub. You don't say that very often. He's generally up the front runners, but the 98 entry now up into 10th position inside the top 10. With Dave Douglas 11, Luke Georgeson now up in 14 positions, Luke Georgeson. So we had some inquiry about him earlier in the night, and he is now up into P16. So doing a good job of that as well. We'll keep an eye on this one for a little bit, see how he gets on. Fantastic paint job there on the 274 entry. That's by RSW, who did the paint job on that car. So fantastic looking livery there. There's plenty. Oh, apparently I am off the air. I'm not so sure what's going on here. Just looks like Discord's had an issue. As far as I'm aware, you can still hear me on the air there. We just dropped out with Carl with you in a minute. We'll try and get him back on the air here. There seems to be a few internet gremlins getting around Australia tonight. So we'll just reopen that one. Seems to be an issue with Discord. Be that as it may, we'll continue to commentate this one away. As we keep going here. We're on lap 51 of 98. I'm trying to get Carl back into things here. It's like operating without one of your arms, without your co-commentator in the broadcast, but it is Edward Foster, still out in the lead of this one. Just seeing if I can get Carl back here. Somehow, just bear with me a moment. We'll try and get this resumed just to see if we can get everything back on board here. It's Foster in the lead. Gallagher here under pressure from Ryan Jones behind him. Certainly the internet being a challenge for us tonight. Sure what's going on here with this one, because things have certainly worked okay so far. And it looks like we are finally back. So we've got Discord up and running. I tell you what, the internet issues tonight in Australia have been something to marvel at. I think we've got Carl Withy back with us in the broadcast booth.
Well, we'll hopefully find out.
Well, you're certainly back, Carl. I'm not sure. I think you might be on your mobile.
I am indeed, yes.
So try
I
jumping.
apologise about the quality there.
Try jumping
yes.
back on your PC, Carl, because Discord's back up again.
Okay.
So it seemed like there was just an issue there. Everything's just progressively dropped out at the moment across Australia. We had issues with iRacing earlier on, issues with the stream and everything else in between, and Discord was the last thing to give out. But while Carl just tries to rejoin us here, Hamish Gallagher still under pressure from Ryan Jones. Daniel Heddersheed closing down on him as well. I'll tell you what, who has popped up into the mix as well. You can see there that fantastic blue livery of Josh Micklemore, the 31 entry. He is now back up into 6th. It shows that he's only made up 3 positions tonight. That is far from telling the story as Mitchell West jumps into pit lane. Josh Micklemore has in fact made his way from a rear of field penalty, so he is right back up to the front of things, having made his way right throughout the field. Have we got you back, Carl?
Hopefully so, yes.
We
Hopefully
do
back at
indeed.
full quality as well, no longer on a mobile phone. But yeah, really good drive from Josh Micklemore, working his way all the way from the back of the pack and cleanly racing it past as well. Some really good moves from Mr. Micklemore. Heddersheed having a good run up there in P4 at the moment, but you can see still battling it out with Ryan Jones. This fight is almost never ending. Instead of Foster in the Atari car, it is now Heddersheed. Great to see this battle carrying on. Just looking down the field as well, some other people on big moves at the moment. We've got Luke Georgeson up 13 in P13, 17 positions gained at the moment for Luke. So good to see there in the 274. Nice run for him. He's currently battling Thomas Martin, of course. Thomas Martin, winner down at Daytona, of course, this year at the start of the season. So nice to see Thomas Martin back out there, one of the newcomers to the series. Started off a fantastic job, but it's very hard to improve on that, really.
Oh, certainly it is. Absolutely it is. We were talking just before we got interrupted. We're giving some highlight to Luke Georgeson as well. He's managed to make his way now up 17 positions in P13, Carl, having started at the rear of the field.
Yeah, really good run from him. He's just behind Dave Douglas. Stevie Dub up into P10, 16 positions gained as well. Matty Raymond still sitting in P15. It's been a night of 15 for Matty Raymond. He qualified there and he's just stuck there. He's just like a fly. He's just stuck in that one position. He's just ahead of Ruben Phelps, Matty Hunter and Peter Wilkinson currently up there in P18. So Wilco having a good race in the Locked On iRacing car. Of course, make sure to head over to Locked On Lads and Locked On iRacing podcast to catch up with all the details of races gone by. It's a really fantastic way to catch all the news and results of a lot of the Australian action from all your favourite online racers over here in Australia. So great to see him having a good run, keeping that car very clean at the moment. But the battle is frenetic through the field and it's settling down a little bit. But Ryan Jones is falling back a little bit. He's now got Skurley getting underneath him. The flying pony of Skurley is absolutely getting past and chewing up those M&Ms.
Absolutely. We had earlier on we had Crispy as the favourite M&M, and I think that's probably resonated reasonably well. Probably 50-50 through the com box. I'm not sure where Carl sits with it, but a Crispy M&M always goes down a treat for me in an evening. But Ryan Jones in double one doing well, up into 5th again, down 4 spots, so he won't see it as doing well, but he's managing the race so far. Michael Skurlock has got some pace on him, but they have got Josh Mickelmore not too far in the background. Mitch Motorsport, my goodness me, those boys have had an absolutely fantastic year so far this year, and this series is absolutely no exception to that.
35 laps to go here tonight at Las Vegas. Foster's managed to build up a lead again of 1.5 seconds almost, so he's pulling a gap over Hamish Gallagher, who's got header sheet all over the back of him at the moment. So that battle is very much going on, and as you say, Mitch Motorsport, another fantastic night for them. But look, it's a given. It's a given for those boys. They are fantastic drivers, and they're one of the strong teams out there. And I think I just noticed Scotty G just mentioning pretzel M&Ms, and they are the best. I was about to say that. The pretzel M&Ms are the very best. You've got salt, you've got pretzel, and you've got chocolate. Oh, it is just, you can't beat that. You cannot beat that at all.
I'm not sure. Like a pretzel chocolate block, yes, but an M&M's too small to truly appreciate the fact that chocolate and salt go together so well. So I'm just, I'm not sure.
It's in that nice bite-sized little burst. It's perfect size for me. Absolutely great little, lovely little treats there for you.
Just a quick share. Has peanut M&Ms, not peanut, but peanut butter M&Ms. Has anyone had those? Just as a quick throw out to the chat before we continue to focus on the race.
Although I must admit, the old peanut and chocolate go together very well. The cups from
Hershey's.
Yeah.
Oof. Let's not go there. We could have a whole stream about chocolate, but we won't, because it might give away some of our condition reports, so we won't go there. But Hamish Gallagher, Daniel Hedersheed, Michael Skurlock, this is the battle for 3rd place, and it has been for most of the night. Skurlock just closing in here. He's doing a good job. We know that Skurley's a good closer as well. So Hedersheed, relatively new to the Xfinity series as well, but doing a really good job against the defending champion, Hamish Gallagher.
Reese's Pieces, that's it. Thanks, Scotty G. Yeah, the Reese's Pieces, yes. Look, we will move on from that, though, because, as you said, Stuart, it's given away the fact that we are not race ready. We're not race fit people. But Hamish Gallagher is really defending now. He has got header sheet all over the back of him, and as you said, Michael Skurlock is sitting there as well. Skurley seems to have some confidence at the moment. Meanwhile, Josh Mickelmore has managed to get past Ryan Jones. Mickelmore on an absolute charge as well. Back up inside the P5 position. Mickelmore from the back of the pack to P5. That is a fairly decent run from Mickelmore. But then again, we've seen Josh Mickelmore go a lap down and get back up there as well. He is not one that is to say, well, he's not afraid of a little bit of challenge here and there, Josh Mickelmore.
No, not at all. Not at all.
As we see, Brendan West is also making the move on Ryan Jones now. Brendan West getting down and making the pass, getting up there. So Brendan West still getting some good speed out of his car as Ryan Jones is coming into pit lane. Ryan Jones is coming into pit lane. This tells me that they does not have the fuel to make it to the end. This is interesting to see. Of course, you're talking about the Natari cars having a good night earlier on. You missed out one of their drivers, of course. That's Norman Clark. He's sitting there in P9.
Oh, I did not. How dare you, Cal Withy, accuse me of that? I did not. No, at the time I did say that Norm Clark was just outside the top 10. In fact, he was inside the top 10, and I said Joshua Carroll Walden was the only driver stopping them from having all 4 inside that top 10. What has disturbed me the most? Abigail Foster's come out and said that all M&Ms are horrible. I mean, my goodness me.
Yeah, I think that's what threw me off. I think that's what... I'll blame the internet connection and lack of love for M&Ms for me forgetting that you mentioned, Norman.
Dare I say, at risk at being thrown out of the broadcast booth, that them's the kind of salt that defrosts a footpath. M&M's not terrible whatsoever in our opinion, but appreciate you joining the stream as always, Abby, and your man Edward Foster leading in the 53 in Atari Autosport all over the front of the stream at the moment, with Daniel Hedersheed in second place.
Yeah, really good run. And look, Foster is having a fantastic run up there at the front, and he's just been on fire all night long, just absolutely setting the pace tonight.
He's owned it.
He's got his teammate behind him as well now, so that is good news. But the question is, who can make it home on fuel? This is the big thing, because Ryan Jones has proven that he needed to come in. He had to make another pit stop, so he was not confident making it home on fuel. When does everyone else pull the plug? When does everybody else decide they're going to come in and make that stop? If they are going to be a lap or two shy on fuel, everybody's going to have to come in and make that stop. But you're going to see a few people risk it out there just in case that caution comes, because that caution will mean they can make it to the end and they won't have to pit. Stevie Dubb, meanwhile, is putting a move on Gary Wellman. So the black DPR car is just getting underneath the radioactive green Simboys car of Gary Wellman. Those two battling it out on track, and you can see up front, Micklemore and Brenton West are also having a good little dice up there as well. So battles still going on throughout the track. It's been some great racing here at Vegas.
I said while you were, I think it was while you were off on the Discord disconnect there, Carl, that Josh Micklemore currently showing up 4 places. That does not represent his night so far. He has come from the rear of the field up into P5. So another traditional performance from Josh Micklemore in Mitch Motorsport. And
Dave Douglas in pit lane. Dave Douglas is in pit lane. Oh, we're going to get stops.
It's hard to think, Carl. It's hard. We were riding on board with Edward Foster there just to hear if he was dropping off some pace there just to save some fuel. It's hard to think of a stronger esport team in terms of oval track racing than Mitch Motorsport at the moment, I think, in Australian motorsport.
Yeah, but Mitch Motorsport is just when they made their team up, when they all got together, we had Josh Micklemore, Jason Martin and Dan Yee in there, and it was just a super team, and we just went, oh, this is going to be tricky. Josh Micklemore is fuel saving, so that's something I can answer straight away. Micklemore is clutching it into the corners, so he is on a fuel save, so Micklemore is trying. Gallagher is fuel saving.
Oh, big time, the clutch in there, he's just dropping some revs out of the Chevrolet. Scotty G's picked up, Scotty G71, good for you, mate, just picked up that Ryan Jones is running the 11 tonight. No, he's not running it, the wrong number. He's running his original number, the 111 was the off-kilter there for Jonesy as he had some time out of the squad as he goes by aptly just to make me look like an expert. But no, he's got the right number on tonight, 111 back to where he belongs. The double one, I should say, back to where he belongs. You might question it though, the 111. He's had some good success in that over recent times, but 11, the original number he ran.
Yeah, just watching the cars. So the guys up front.
Should we jump on with Foster? See what Foster's doing.
They're not saving. They are not saving. So they are going all hell for leather, all out at the moment. And you'll be able to see just behind this group is a fast-charging Ryan Jones trying to get his lap back. So he is flying past Michael Skurlock at the moment. He is on his way to get his lap back. So this is fascinating to see because he is on those fresh tyres. He has got fuel to the end. Ryan Jones could be in with a shout of winning this race now. If everybody else has to pit and he stays out there, he is going to take the effective lead of this race. But it's the question if everybody else has to pit. That's the thing. There are going to be lots of big fuel saves going on out there right now. And I've got to say, I feel like Foster, Hedersheed and Skurlock might not make it to the end. And I think they're going to be hoping for a caution. I'm waiting to be proven wrong on this, of course, but I've got a feeling that they might need to come in for a quick splash and dash to get themselves to the end.
Williams is in, so I think you might be right. If Stevie Dubb's in, that's enough for me.
Yeah, we've seen some big names coming in. Stevie Dubb, we saw Dave Douglas go in as well, and those guys are very much, they're the ones that you would expect to be on the bubble of that kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. The thing is, a few of those drivers, like Hamish Gallagher, they might be able to just sit in the draft and fuel save enough that they can make it to the end. But somebody like Foster might be in some real trouble right now. If somebody a little bit further back, like the car we're watching now, the 268 of Peter Wilkinson, he can do some fuel saving. He could be in for a really good result right now. But up at the front, we've got the battle on as Hamish Gallagher is trying to get past Michael Skurlock. He's down on the inside, down the back, straight he goes. And Hamish Gallagher is going to make the pass position. Hamish Gallagher on an absolute charge. Sitting back, saving a little bit of fuel in that stint. And it looks like the Mitch cars have now switched it on and are starting to use that gas up at a vast rate of knots. You can see how quickly they're catching. You can see how much Foster's fallen back because he's now fuel saving. And they've been fuel saving at different times. And you've got to say, it's looking good for Gallagher and Josh Micklemore at the moment. Micklemore right up on the back of Hedersheed. Gallagher getting past Foster into the lead of the race. Hamish Gallagher taking the lead of the race. Michael Skurlock up on the high side as well. He's going to try and get past. You can see they're going to go 3 wide into the corner. No, they don't. They just about see sense in that one. But Josh Micklemore is going to try and make the move on Foster. It's all over the place. This is the front of the pack, ladies and gentlemen. This is for the lead of the race. They are all over the place at the moment trying to get that lead, and they are all clutching it heavily into the corners trying to fuel save as well. It's a race of who could go the slowest, the fastest.
Just having a look back through the field here to see who else might be doing the same thing, having saved for a little while. As you say, Ryan Jones there now. He's right back up behind Peter Wilkinson, who's in 11th position. So he is making his way back up through this field. He is... Oh, as Wilco gets into the fence there. Wilco into the fence, but Jonesy here making a run. He has the time, 16 laps to go. He has the time to make an impact on the front of this field as Hamish Gallagher and Michael Skurlock now make a move across as Dave Douglas gets back to run laps himself as well. So those who have pitted, who've run the gauntlet with fuel versus those who've pitted is what we're going to see here towards the end of this race.
Who has called this one right? That's going to be the question. We're going to find out the answer to that at the end of this race. I still don't think anybody can make it home on fuel. I think they're all going to be struggling. They might be coughing and spluttering as they get across the line. And I've got to say, I still have questions about Hamish Gallagher because he was stationary for a little bit less time than the rest of the field, and I think he took a little bit less fuel, so he could be in real trouble here towards the end of the race. He did sit back a little bit, he was clutching it quite a lot, and he is trying to save as much fuel as possible, but I feel like he has got an uphill battle for it. Foster, Skurlock and Hedersheed were all going pretty quickly, and I feel like they might be struggling as well come towards the end. Gary Wellman's catching up to this group, as well as Norman Clark. Matty Ray up into P9 now, so he was sitting 15th for pretty much all of this race, but now he's working his way up the field nicely. So keep an eye on Matty Ray. But the one to keep an eye out for, I think the big one is going to be Ryan Jones, who is catching this group at a vast rate of knots. Those fresh tyres are helping out a little bit. He still has 20 seconds to gain with only 13 laps to do it. He doesn't have enough time. He does not have enough time to catch those leaders unless they run out of fuel. So the battle is still very much hit on here at the front of the pack. Gallagher very much clutching it into the corner. You can almost hear the silence in Las Vegas as these V8 engines just clutch it through and just go into idle mode, trying to save as much fuel as humanly possible, these guys. Not an easy thing to do. 11 laps remaining, 11 and a half I should say. It is going to be so close here at the end. Who has saved the fuel and who hasn't? That's going to be the big question. But this is going to be a fascinating battle as we get to the end of this race. If we get a late caution here, it's really going to pay off for somebody like Hamish Gallagher and Michael Skurlock. Going to hurt somebody like Ryan Jones. Although he will be able to stick it out. And we have seen that tyre drop-off hasn't been too bad. So we might be able to achieve something as the lead pack do just come up past Tristan Kolk now. And it is still Hamish Gallagher in the lead.
So do we think Foster's saved enough? Stevie Williams there just barging his way through. He's trying to get back onto the lead lap, and that shows a little bit of the differential there as well. But do we think Foster's saved enough, and has he got enough left to make up the half a second gap for Gallagher saving early?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think... Well, no, actually, I think that Foster will get past Gallagher, and I think Skurlock's going to get past Gallagher as well. I don't think Gallagher has got enough fuel to make it to the end. I think he's going to be really, really tight, and he's just going to have to really try and save it, especially running out here at the front. He's got nobody to help him out. You could see there with Stevie Dub just getting past. The fact that he can run at full beams is really helping him out. He's able to just go that much quicker than the rest of the pack, because these guys are just having to slow down so much through the corner. They're losing a lot of speed in the cars. And when we say they're losing a lot of speed, they're still, they're only a couple of tenths off some of their fast laps. They're still going incredibly fast. That's one of the great things about these drivers, just how quick they are when they're fuel saving.
Yeah, it's experience. It's absolutely experience. The Mitch Motorsport boys, Foster, obviously Skirley as well. Josh Micklemore, there's no coincidence that we're saying those names up at the front. Brenton West's done a great job tonight as well. He's just stuck with it. He's down 2 places, but he's still battling out for the lead. You can see him there just off the back of Josh Micklemore. Very, very impressive drive from him. Gary Wellman as well as Daniel Hedersheed. So we've got some good runners at the front here with 8 laps to go. It is Hamish Gallagher who's out in front at the moment, and he has Michael Skurlock, the Welsh traveller, right behind him, and there's every chance that we're going to be calling those 2 names right as they cross the start-finish line.
As they're just going to get past Peter Wilkinson right there in the locked-on iRacing car. He is trying to do the fuel save as well. He's just sitting back there, and he's going to just drop behind these guys and get a little bit of draft action as Josh Micklemore just gets up a little bit high behind him, just gets a little bit tight. But there's a lot of different strategies going on right here, and this is where you're going to probably see the most likelihood of a caution, because there's cars that are really very much out of position at the moment, and they're just trying to get around, trying to keep out of everybody's way. As they do that, it sometimes causes incidents because drivers sort of they sort of think, oh, they're going to keep the racing line, and then all of a sudden somebody sort of decides to be nice and get out the way, and then that causes an incident. So we'll see how this one pans out. But there's so many different strategies going on track at the moment. It's hard to say who's got this. Coming across, we've got 5 laps remaining. Lap 93 of 98 here. It is Hamish Gallagher still in the lead. Look at how close Foster and Skurlock are there as well. Brenton West up into P4 as well. So West is really on the back here and just hanging on to the back of this pack. Josh Micklemore looks like he's having to drop off a little bit more than he wants, because it looks like his fuel is very much saying, you are not making it home, buddy, if you keep up this pace. So Micklemore just having to ease off. I
think he's going to cop a Simboy's Natari Autosport compression in the not too distant future. Is Josh Micklemore. Hedersheed probably a little bit further back, might still get it done with 5 to go here, depending on how much he has to save, as the Thomas Martin 071 entry goes past to unlap himself from the likes of Josh Micklemore. But I think Gary Wellman might get that position. The thing is, at the front here is just this Hamish Gallagher Michael Skurlock battle. I don't know if Skirley's still saving and he's just waiting to press his claim. Like 5 to go is still tons of time when you're only a 10th down on the race leader. Maybe he's thinking that Gallagher might have a cough and off he runs.
Personally, that's what I just got the feeling that Gallagher's just going to splutter maybe in turn number 3 on that last lap. I think he's just going to be a little bit shy on fuel, and he is really saving hard now. You can see Skurlock right on the back of Gallagher now. Gallagher is really fuel saving, and he's really having to work hard to save that fuel as well. Skirley is just able to put that pressure on him, and all that pressure as well is not helping, because that makes it very hard to fuel save, because you lose concentration. Meanwhile, Foster just trying to get onto the draft of Matty Hunter there, as Matty Hunter's trying to make his way through the field, as he's come in for a pit lane stop as well. So he's got a bit more fuel on board. So you can see those guys jumping behind the cars in front of them to get that draft. Foster trying to get the best draft he can as well to get the advantage of it. We're coming across the line, lap 97 it will be. And we're getting very close to the end here. It is very close indeed. We've got 1.8 laps to go. It is really, really closing up here now. Hamish Gallagher still in the lead. Skurlock in second. Foster in 3rd position. It is a battle of fuel at the moment. Who has saved it? Who hasn't? We will find out in just under 1.5 laps. It is getting so close here now. Who is going to fail at the finish? Who is going to run out of fuel across the line? We are going to find out. Skurlock getting a good run off the corner right here. He's going to get underneath Hamish Gallagher as he comes across for the white flag. And Hamish Gallagher's just got to make it.
And traffic. How's this going to happen?
Traffic. Those guys, though, are going to be able to move faster because they've got fuel on board. So it's Michael Skurlock making the move. Skirling is making the move right now. He's getting down the inside of Hamish Gallagher as they're coming down the back straight for the final time tonight. Michael Skurlock's got the inside line. Hamish Gallagher on the outside. Skirling looks to have this. If he's got the fuel, he's going to make it. Skirling absolutely getting a run off the line.
What a run.
Michael Skurlock takes the victory there.
Run from Michael Skurlock. That is absolutely what we would love to expect and what we delight in seeing from the Welsh wizard, Michael Skurlock. He's just pinched it at the line there from Hamish Gallagher, who's had to hold out with fuel. Edward Foster in third. Brenton West, driver of the night for mine, in fourth position with Gary Wellman in fifth. Josh Mickelmore makes his way up into sixth with Matty Ray, championship leader, in seventh. That's a good clean run for him. He'll be happy with that. Daniel Hedersheet in eighth. Norm Clark in ninth position. And Ruben Phelps rounding out our top 10. Ryan Jones in 11th position. But Hamish has run out of fuel is what we're hearing here. He's run out of fuel.
All those cars that did not pit are out of fuel. Nobody has got much left in there. They are pretty much running on fumes. Brenton West is actually, well, he's cruising it to the pit lane, but he is out of fuel as well. They've just all run out. Peter Wilkinson had to make a last-minute pit stop just to get that little bit of extra fuel. He could not make it to the very end, so he had to dash in, but that ended up dropping him down to P17 in the end. Jamie Budd finished in P18, Lachlan Okio 19, and Joshua Carroll 20th. Big movers of the night: Michael Skurlock 11 positions gained, Stevie Dubb 13 positions gained, and Dave Douglas 10 positions gained. So those are big movers. Biggest mover, though, would be Josh Mickelmore, who started from the back of the pack, remember.
Oh, and look at this. It reminds me of the Love Bug. I think it's Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, where, 199, the Lancia pushes Herbie round to the finish so he can finish the race. Oh, look at that. Just beautiful.
Dave Douglas, always the gentleman, giving a little bit of a push from behind, getting Skirley to the line so he can do a little bit of celebration, and spinning him up there so he can try and do a donut. Will he manage to get around? He's going to reverse it. It's going to be a very, very unenthusiastic looking donut because there is absolutely no fuel in the car of Mr. Mickey Skurlock. For 350, Michael Skurlock taking the victory there. What a finish.
Oh my. So for those of you that didn't see out the race or are watching the highlights package that will come at the end of this one, Skurlock takes out the win. Hamish Gallagher, Edward Foster, what a top three. There's probably 980 million years worth of experience between the top three in that result. So a fantastic run tonight with Brenton West, my driver of the night, in fourth position, Gary Wellman in fifth, Josh Mickelmore in sixth, Matty Ray in seventh, Daniel Hedersheet, good run from him in eighth. He'll be probably a little bit disappointed with that result, but it's a good result overall with Clark in ninth. So three of the Natari Autosport drivers in the top 10. Ruben Phelps rounding out the top 10. Our front row sitter Ryan Jones finishes in 11th, Dave Douglas in 12th. Then we've got Williams and Weston 13th and 14th with Martin and Hunter 15th and 16th. Then Big Pete in 17th, Jamie Budd in 18th, Lachlan Urquio in 19th, and Joshua Carroll Walden rounding out our top 20 tonight. Carl, I reckon that's one of the best races we've actually seen from the Xfinity, the Thunder Series tonight.
Look, that was an absolute cracker. That was a classic race. That was fantastic. That fuel saving at the end really made it. Big shout out to Gary Wellman as well, making his way up from 13th to 5th as well. He's having a really solid season too. But Brendan West, one of the newer faces to the series, has done a fantastic job getting up there. But I believe we've got our top three up in the booth. So we will start with the third place man, Mr. Edward Foster. Congratulations on P3 there. I imagine you would have wanted it just to be maybe 2 places higher. But you got there in the end, maybe a little bit tight on fuel?
Yeah, just a little bit. She was dying over the line. It was... I don't know. I feel a bit gutted with that one because I feel like if everything had sort of gone as normal, I should have won it quite easily. I was sort of cruising around out the front. Everything was all good. And then, that caution came just on that borderline. And at first, I didn't think there was any chance we were going to make it home. And then as time went on, it's kind of like, okay, it might be a chance. And yeah, just wound up clutching into every turn and everything, and even then it was dying over the line. So yeah, nothing I could do for the guys ahead of me. They did a better job with the fuel, and that's the way it goes.
Look, your long round pace tonight and out in front, you were very strong with a couple of seconds lead over the rest of the guys tonight. Las Vegas, track that suits you tonight, or just one of those nights that tend to be working out well for you?
Don't know. Just yeah, I can't really explain it. I know Hamish had a bit of damage, which definitely would have slowed him up a little bit, but most of the other guys look pretty clean. And yeah, look, I really don't know. I can't really explain what was going on with those guys, but yeah, I was feeling quite comfortable out the front for sure at that time.
How gutted were you when you saw that caution flag come out?
Oh, look, not really. I was expecting a caution a bit earlier than that. But what I didn't appreciate at the time probably was actually the significance of the timing. I mean, I don't normally run any practice for these races or anything, so I don't know what the fuel range is going to be. It's all just kind of stuff we sort of work out on the fly, and it's a rare situation that the last caution of the night happens to fall just, a couple of laps over what a normal fuel run would be. So it's a fairly unusual circumstance. Yeah, look, it's just, played out how it played out. But I wasn't unhappy at the time to see the caution at all. It's just, one of those things, expected it.
Ed, I've got to ask you, there's a rumour circulating amongst the ANZCAR family that the Foster family hate M&Ms. True or false?
Not true.
Not true. Well,
not true.
Abby jumped in tonight and said effectively that all M&Ms are criminal, and I just wanted to get your take on that, given your ongoing feud with Ryan Jones.
There's no ongoing feud with Ryan Jones.
Oh, there is, mate. It turns it up for the stream, but you would have been pleased. I think we mentioned in the early part of the stream that you'd part of the let me frame it correctly. Part of the ANZCAR family is that I think the mandate for everyone is to get everyone ahead. I think that's a really a good statement of how ANZCAR runs as a series. And I mentioned that you might have given that Ryan some counselling to help him improve his performance. He had a really good run over the last few weeks, particularly. And we're just playing off that Jones-Foster elastic that runs between you both. How were you when you saw he was going to be pulling up beside you as we started the race tonight?
Yeah, I was a bit gutted to miss out on pole, actually. I mean, obviously, he's been in really good form recently. I can't claim any credit for that at all. He's just improved his racecraft a lot, and that's all there is to it. So it looks like he had a little bit of potentially contact with a couple of guys behind me. But, I mean, off the first lap, on cold tyres, he got a little bit loose. I think it was first or second lap, something like that, and allowed me to get past him. So, didn't even really have much of a fight. It was just kind of, went past, and that was the end of it. So, look, he's been on good form. He obviously won the last time out, and I'm sure he's going to be strong for the rest of the year, as will Hamish, Skirley, Josh Mickelmore, all the normal guys that we see up front. So it's going to be a good battle for the rest of the season. I'm enjoying it. My
last question for you, Ed, as well, is just the space now with the delay caused by iRacing last week. How does the week's gap between the Xfinity Series and the Cup play out for you?
Well, I guess, it was kind of handy to have the Xfinity running the same track as the Cup each week. Now there's that gap there. I guess time will tell if it affects it all. Not really sure. It's... I don't really think it's going to make too much of a difference, to be honest. But, I guess we'll find out.
Oh, good run for Natari with 3 of your drivers inside the top 10 tonight. JCW just missing out as well. Edward Foster in third position. A great one. Well done, Ed.
Thanks very much.
So move on to Hamish Gallagher. Hamish, a really, really strong run again from you tonight. Nothing that we wouldn't expect from probably the strongest oval track racing team in Australian iRacing at the moment, mate. How was the race for you?
It was okay. It was a bit of a frustrating race. I was just trying to save my right front tyre at the start of the race there, just behind Jonesy, just letting him burn his off, which he did. And then when I was trying to get underneath him, he sort of turned down into me and killed my right front. So I was pretty slow from that point on. I didn't fight Edward when I got ahead of him in the pit stop there. I just let him go because I knew I wasn't going to have any speed. In some ways, it was probably good it turned into a fuel mileage race because that gave me a second chance. And it was a bit fun there. We're all sort of playing games there. One of us would have go for one lap and get past everyone, and then would be fuel saving, and someone else would come back ahead. So yeah, no, it was pretty good. It was like the sort of caught me out in that last lap. Like I was going as fast as I could, but it's like the first time I'd got through a corner without clutching it and realised I didn't have a right front left, and the thing just pushed up and Skirley got ahead of me, and I think we both ran out of fuel going across the line. It was a bit funny, but yeah, so it was an interesting race.
Yeah, just 3 laps shy there of the midpoint that you needed to get to the end of the race. But the Mitch Motorsport guys having yet again another strong season, and in this series as well as the main game, the Cup. So how will this impact on your preparations for next week?
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Haven't driven the Cup car here, so I don't know what it's like. But these tracks I don't generally do as well at. So generally the stuff with the 750 horsepower packages, where my strengths are. So be a matter of just getting through as best I can, I think, at these intermediate tracks.
Very well. Well, on behalf of Mitch Motorsport, mate, just a big cheerio to all of your fans and supporters.
Yeah, just give a shout out to Josh for racing with one eye tonight.
Wait. Do tell more.
He got stung in the eye by a bee.
You're kidding. You are kidding. We wondered. We thought it's unusual for Josh to start that far back, but he still managed to mercurially make his way up into P6. I mean, my goodness me.
What really happened? What did he get in there, really?
Well, it stung in the eye, Mick. In inverted commas.
I'd be out for it. No way I'd be racing like that. But nah. He's still pretty good with one eye. So well done to Josh coming from the back as well for his EOL. And just ANZCAR for putting everything on, of course. Skirley for doing a good job there of the fuel side. I think Skirley is probably fastest, and the really long runs there. He was coming before that caution, so it was interesting to see what he had. But so well done to Skirley.
Driving one-handed, Mick.
Yeah, no, especially when I saw you drop back at the start after that second run there, Skirley. I thought, oh boy, here he comes. But well done to Skirley for fuel saving as well, and Edward for P3 as well.
Well, thank you very much, Hamish. And of course, remiss of me, I'm a little bit rusty in the old interviews. Ed, just quickly, I didn't ask you to thank your sponsors. Sorry, mate.
Oh, yeah, well, sure. So we had, obviously, AJ Insurance Services, which adorns the Xfinity car. But, we got Bridgestone Select Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, and also Ferguson Group Media. Thanks to them.
And thanks very much, Ed, for that one as well. Hamish, congratulations on P2. Another strong performance for you. That'll help your cause in defending the title as well. But we are now crossing over to Mick Skurlock, the Irish wizard, the man of many nicknames. Well, he's not even Irish, he's Welsh. No, he's just, they're close. They're close. I mean, there's a ditch.
Yeah, tell them that.
That's a lifetime war declared now.
Yeah, it is, but it's kind of like Tassie and, Victoria. Like, they're still Australians, but they're not really. So,
You'll be a Kiwi next week, Mickey Skurlock.
It just is what it is. Well, that's a long jump, Cole, with you. Come on, let's not do that. That's a long jump.
There is one similar thing between Welsh and New Zealand, but I won't.
Get out of it.
That's probably the sheep. I imagine it's the sheep that you're talking about, because it's certainly not Jacinda Ardern. Anyway, let's move along there. That's a slip from me. I'm a little bit rusty. But, Mickey, a fantastic run from you tonight, mate. You were hovering just around the lead battle for a majority of the night, and ended up managing to execute on the fuel save and get it done.
Yeah, mate, yeah. I didn't qualify that good, so... like Hamish said, I literally really was focusing just on hanging back, just letting it roll through the corners and just waiting. Because after, there's one lap where everybody in front of you just drops off, and if you've saved them, you don't. It's weird. It's it happens like that. So it's not really. I think it's almost like the simulator decides, okay, here you go, everyone's tires get turned off now, because. Yeah, then it's obvious. You can just come through like you're not even trying. And it was since Brenton Hobson did it that last race we did, or the last race I was in. I'm doing that from forever now. Just sag back and wait for the tyres to come in. As long as you don't get wrecked while you're doing it, it's a good plan.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyway, what would you say? What was the question?
No, you covered it perfectly, mate. It's funny that you say that, because we've noticed haven't had a chance to have a chat with you on the podium for a little bit, but I've said a couple of times now that you drive. I reckon your driving's changed, and I don't know whether or not you'll agree with me. Of course, you'll be the one who'll be able to tell us. But ever since a race, probably I don't know how many races ago it was now, but since there was some management by, it was either Hobbo or Daiso, who ran a race without a fuel stop. And you took some note from that race, and ever since then I've seen a fair bit of change in the way that you manage your race now, rather than just running flat out every race to make sure you get to the end and you're in a position to win.
Yeah, I think it's that Hobbo one, to be honest. But I mean, if I'd qualified up in the top 3, I probably wouldn't have saved him as much, to be honest. It's because I was sort of 12th or something like that off the start. So you just it's got more of a reason just to take it easy. But sorry, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't really a race at the end. That was more like a Mardi Gras parade. We were just like, here you go now, there you go. And then I was just like waiting, going, all right, Hamish has got the front now. Good on him, because I couldn't be out front. If I went out front, I would have run out 2 laps earlier than that.
A Mickey Bradbury is what you're saying.
Well, I've done that before. But no, I was thinking, I thought Josh might have had heaps in the bag, and I thought he was going to come shooting by, but obviously everyone was basically on the same amount of fuel that whole time.
No, well, I'm glad to see you return to form, mate, and back out in front. It's always good to have you up here challenging for the front. We love to see it with our routine performers, and you're certainly one of those, Mickey. So just a shout out to the BMX Bandits and the like.
Yeah, well, you done that for me. I'll give a shout out to Locked On iRacing Podcast, and FGM eCast, obviously, ANZCAR, and everyone else for racing well tonight. Still one caution, but I don't know, it mixed it up a bit. Edward was fucking pretty far ahead. Sorry. He was pretty far ahead before that caution come out. So I don't know what would have happened if that didn't come out. But yeah. So I'll take it. Thank you.
Wilco hasn't twisted your arms into running the locked on paint scheme yet?
Nah, well, I'm not. The Formula V's aren't on, so I literally don't know if I'm in a team or not. But I'll still thank him. I like the podcast.
What do you mean?
That's all right. It needs to get the sponsorship on your car, mate.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean the V's aren't on?
No, well, the Aussie car thing, they didn't get enough people signing up for it.
Oh, the one
Formula V.
When does that normally run?
Yeah, Wednesdays. That's why I haven't been doing this lately.
Why we got you back here? It's a shame about the V's, though, unfortunately.
Oh,
but,
I honestly didn't know. I'm not being flippant. I honestly didn't know that was on. Was that on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, it was. But
I thought you were running the trucks.
Obviously, you don't care if I'm here or not, mate. But,
no, not at all. No, not quite the contrary. I thought you might have been running the trucks.
Stuart just doesn't love you enough, Scully. It's disgraceful. I've been keeping an eye on your career. You've been doing very well over there.
Thanks, mate. I've been keeping an eye on your career. Congratulations on your win the other day, mate.
Oh, wow.
Oh well, I don't like to speak about me dominating in the trucks. Whatever the name of those trucks, the cross country thing goes.
No, I'm talking about your steampunk.
Oh yeah, even better. Yeah, costume contest wins. Yes, thank you.
No, I liked it, mate. I liked it. Oh, boys, I kept you for too long here.
No, that's all good. Yeah, congratulations to you once again, Skirley, on P1 tonight. A good run there, and our last lap overtake on Las Vegas. Carl, we're back tomorrow night with a slightly different setup for the Cup Series tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to be starting a little bit earlier tomorrow night. We are going to be from Bristol, of course. The last great Coliseum. There we go. Words are working again. There we go. My router's managed to switch back on apparently. So we will be looking forward to that one tomorrow night for the chase here on FGM eCast. Make sure to join us for that one. And then we will be back after that next week with some more truck action and, of course, oval action. But we hope to see you all tomorrow night.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tuesday night we're off with Ozpass. That's got a couple of weeks gap for us, which is great. But beyond that, we will absolutely be back. Thanks to everyone for joining us in the stream tonight. We really appreciate everyone who jumped on YouTube and the other streaming partners for tonight. What a great race we saw. Michael Skerlock taking out the win, Hamish Gallagher in second, and Edward Foster in third. Join us tomorrow night for the Cup, 7:45 here on FGME Cast, your E-Place for Pace. Thank you, Carl Withy, and good night.